Ladies and gentlemen, I just bought a baby Chinook. It's a CH46E, which is known as the Frog. This was a Marine Corps helicopter. It's just like the CH47 Chinook, just smaller, and there's some differences, but it is one of the coolest helicopters in the world. It was one of the last remaining flying as part of the HMM 774 squadron, and now I'm gonna take it over and give it a new life. Hey guys. Future Heavy D here. I'm sitting here in the editing room going over the final cut of this video that you're watching right now, and I realized that I needed to clarify something just for maximum transparency. So in this video, I tell you that I actually bought this helicopter, but the reality is I have not bought and paid for this helicopter yet, because at the end of this video, once we were done filming, I sat down with Rick, the owner of the helicopter, and we determined that it actually made more sense for he and I to partner on this rather than for me to come in and try to buy it outright. And the reason for that is because it allows me to come in and do what we do best, which is basically take the project and get it across the finish line, get the helicopter flying, get it airworthy, get all the stuff handled while Rick can still maintain ownership. And then once it's done and back up airborne, then we'll determine whether it makes sense to keep it and fly it, turn around and sell it, put it to work, or any other number of different options that a big helicopter like this can do. I just didn't want to lead you guys all the way to the end of the video and make you think that I bought it when really I hadn't. It doesn't really change anything. We're still going to be the managers and the ones that are taking care of this helicopter and doing all the cool stuff with it. Just wanted to make sure that we weren't misleading you. But before we get into that, I want to give you guys an update on what's going on out here in Carson City, Nevada. You guys remember we came out here last May and did a video with our good friend Rick Clemens. Rick Clemens is one of my favorite people on earth. He's an old man who spent his entire life collecting all sorts of really cool military aircraft, equipment, vehicles, trucks, you name it. Rick has it, and he put it all together to film what's called the Cactus Air Force Wings and Wheels Museum. Now, as Rick's getting into his golden years of life and he's ready to kind of like enjoy his retirement, he needs to get rid of some stuff. We've been helping him offload some of his aircraft and different pieces of equipment, and as part of that, we're working a deal to get this Frog out of his hangar and back in the friendly skies. We've had so many of you reach out and like, hey, what's the deal on that? What's the deal on that? So we're gonna try to give you the best update we possibly can, starting with the Cobra. One of the helicopters that I was most interested in when I first got in touch with Rick. I got an email from our good friend Josh out here in Carson City, and he's like, hey, I'm working with this guy, Rick, and he's got this. He sent me some pictures, some really cool stuff, and this was one of the pictures I received. So naturally, I had to come check it out. This right here is a Cobra, an AH-1 Cobra, which is basically a Huey that's been turned into just a monster fighting machine. This is one of the coolest Cobras I've seen because it's got like the weapons mounts, it's got the round glass still. It's just like one of the most iconic attack helicopters in the world. And originally my plan was to be able to make a deal to buy this from him and give it a new life, or help him sell it or get it flying again. Here's the update. This thing's pretty much ready to go. There's one piece that Rick has been waiting for to get fixed, and then this thing can be flying again. We're actually just not gonna do anything with this because Rick, he's not ready to be done yet. He still wants to go fly and have fun and enjoy things. So he's hanging on to this one. We're gonna get it back up and flying here again with the couple little fixes that it needs, and he's gonna be able to hang on to it and enjoy it throughout the rest of his golden years. The OV-10 Bronco. This was one of the aircraft that you guys were like most excited about in our last video out here because, I mean, look at it. It kind of looks like an A-10 Warthog, just different in a lot of ways, but this is one of the most badass planes in the world. It was designed to be an observation plane, but it can be used for utility, cargo, firefighting, all kinds of different stuff. From what I understand, these things are going to be going somewhere like near the African continent to be able to go work over there and do who knows what. It's kind of like a classified top secret mission. I'm glad to see that Rick is finding a good new home for these things. I mean, look at this thing. It is such a rad looking airplane. Like I said, it looks like it's an attack plane, and I believe that they had the ability to have weapons mounted on them, but most of the time they were designed for observation, which is why you see the rear tail cone right here is literally designed for somebody to sit in and observe and see all kinds of stuff. I really have no need for a plane like this right now. As much as I want one, I don't need it, but I need a CH46. Next up, we've got the Hughes 269. It's an interesting little helicopter. It is available for sale. Asking price starts around 80. There may be some flexibility on that, but give or take, that's kind of the ballpark. It's pretty much complete. It's not flying right now. Need kind of some of the parts and pieces to finish putting it back together. I think most of those come with it. Again, you can get more information about all this stuff by clicking the link in our description below. It's going to take you to a contact form. We're going to kind of help vet some of the people that are interested in some of the stuff so we don't overwhelm Rick and his team with tire kickers, because that's the worst. A lot of people emailed us and contacted us about saying, hey, what's the deal? I want that. It's a project. And the answer to your question is no. This is Rick's baby. Like, he is dead set on getting this thing put back together and flying. In fact, we're looking for a few parts and pieces for this helicopter. Basically any OH6 parts, a tail boom and the horizontal and the vertical stabilizers. They're not looking for freebies. Rick's willing to buy them, but some of the stuff is just getting harder and harder to find. Shoot me an email, info@HeavyDSparks.com, or you can click in the description below to contact us, because the man wants to fly. Let's get him flying. The F86. Now, this is a really, really cool jet. Super iconic. It is, I believe, available. Don't think that you're gonna come out here and fly it home. It's a project, needs a lot of work. It may never fly again, not 100% sure. You can get a hold of Rick's aircraft broker. Again, the link, you can contact him in the description below. Then we got the Grumman Albatross, which is one of my favorite seaplanes in the world. This is like, it's like the tailspin plane. Just freaking awesome. Sold, not available. We got another Grumman Albatross, and to be really honest with you, nobody really knows who this one is. Rick mentioned that somebody kind of parked it here one day and just never came back and got it. So I'm sure it's gonna end up getting scrapped or something at some point, unfortunately. But the reality is this thing's in such condition that a restoration on it would be damn near impossible. So you could reach out and might be able to work a deal, but this one's just gonna be a lot trickier to get any sort of, real information on, because still trying to figure out who exactly it belongs to. We have the Grumman S2 Tracker. This was an anti-submarine, basically warbird. Really cool plane. It is available. It flew in here, actually landed right there. Unfortunately, airplanes. Over the years, it's been sitting here, got water into the engine, so it does not run, does not fly. Project for sure, but it is available. Click the link below, get a hold of the broker if you're interested in it. This is just like one of the most exciting days of my life. The CH46E, the Frog, as they call it in the military, which, as you can see, it got its nickname because it literally looks like a frog, is such a cool helicopter. Everybody knows the Chinook, right? The big, tandem rotor design. It's like one of the most iconic helicopters. Well, this is its little brother. It shares a lot of the same design features with the tandem rotor system, which is really cool because it means you don't need a tail rotor. What that did is turn this into an extremely versatile workhorse for the military. The blades fold back so they could line these bad boys up on ships out on the ocean, and these things saw extensive battlefield experience. Like, they were used for all sorts of stuff, from just hauling troops, medevac missions, search and rescue. The 46 is capable of hauling about 4,000 pounds of internal cargo load, and they could haul about 10,000 pounds from the cargo hook on an external load. Tons of lift capacity, tons of carrying capacity, but 2 engines. It's designed to be resilient, rugged, and if you have a problem in the air, a lot of systems are redundant, so you can hopefully keep on flying, or at least get yourself to a safe place to land. This whole clamshell opens up. It's got like literally ramps that go straight down to the ground. Or if you're not hauling cargo, you bring your troops in and you got troop seats. And you're just chilling right here, getting ready to go to war. What's crazy is this is a really fast helicopter, faster than the Black Hawk even. This thing's capable of cruising at about 160, 170 miles an hour, and that's like a cruise speed. You can push it beyond that. Like, these things really, really rip. You can go places and do things that you can't with other helicopters that have tail rotors, because it's just a completely different design. So these were very, very popular helicopters. This came from the Marine Corps. Every Marine that I've ever talked to absolutely loves these things. When you see a big military helicopter, they look big and impressive and awesome, but people don't realize that the inside of military helicopters is very rugged. Like, there's no panels, there's no cushions, there's no drop down TVs or air conditioning vents. Like, this is what you get, just a raw shell, and there's just wires and cords and cables and tubes and connections, and it just runs everywhere. Engine 1, engine 2, and lots of access points from the bottom, and then also on the top, those hatches open up, so it's actually pretty easy to get in there and access. Nice thing is, you don't have to sit there and look at the engines all day. Those bad boys will actually fold up out of the way, and it'll cover them. Now that it's not being used because the military is not flying them anymore, they phased them out and replaced it with the V-22 Osprey, which is the big tilt rotor helicopter. So these are now going into service as basically utility helicopters, firefighting missions mostly, missions where you need to be able to do a lot of lifting and move a bunch of stuff. So you're probably asking yourself, like, Heavy D, what are you gonna do with a CH46? And the answer to that question is, I am gonna do the same thing I do with the Black Hawk. I love military aircraft. I wanna preserve this piece of history, but I also wanna get this thing flying and working. So we could potentially use this for search and rescue operations. We could use this, put it on firefighting contracts. We could put it on utility contracts, because the reality is this is the last and latest model they built, the E model. So it's got all the modernized stuff. It's got the newest engines, newest electronics, newest blades, all the stuff is the latest and greatest that they put on this model. So that means that it's not outdated. And there's some, modifications that can be done to this thing to make it legit. I've heard that you can get rid of the cargo ramp and lighten this whole thing up, save yourself, a few thousand pounds, which means a few thousand pounds more lifting capacity. Lots of capability here. Kind of similar to my Black Hawk, right? When I bought it, I had to get a whole program laid out, figure out how to transition it from military to civilian service, which means we're gonna have to do a handful of inspections. We're gonna have to go through and make sure all the parts and pieces are good and current and not, out of date and not time limited or in need of overhaul. It's gonna require, a special crew of mechanics and people who understand these things really well. The Black Hawk is a program that the military has been selling for a while to the public. And so there's more people out there doing it, which means more people have gone out and kind of like paved the way and done the hard part of figuring out the paperwork and how to get it transitioned from military to civilian use. It was just a little bit easier to figure out. There's been less of that done. So I'm gonna be trailblazing in a lot of different areas. So I could use some help with people who have experience with these. So if you do wanna help be involved with this project, anything from the maintenance all the way to type ratings and that kind of stuff, shoot an email, info@HeavyDSparks.com. I wanna see this thing come back to life. That's the update on all the aircraft out here in Carson City, Nevada with our good friend Rick. Like I said, there's a ton of stuff that we can help you guys, put you in touch with Rick's team. If you're interested in buying some of the things you've seen in the different videos, again, some of it's gone, some of it's available. Go to the contact form below, reach out, and we'll let you know if it's around. We've had a lot of people reach out in the past. We didn't respond because we weren't ready to field that much interest yet, but we are ready now, and we want to help Rick get these things out of here, get them flying or get them sold or clear up some space and let this man enjoy his golden years. I love Rick. Rick has become like a dad to me. He's such a cool guy, and he is one of the most resilient dudes I've ever met. Walking around on 2 prosthetic legs, but it doesn't slow him down. He just keeps going. So with that said, we're gonna load up, head back to home, and start getting our plan together to get this bad boy back up in the air.